Okay. Um, could not access the channel or stream key. Please double check. Stream. Okay, go away. This is annoying. All right, I almost have it. At least it's streaming now. Dashboard. Okay.
Oh, you got a split screen going on.
Yay, we did it. Oh my goodness. I am so proud of myself right now. I should have a celebratory drink. That was an act of Congress for me. Wow.
That's fantastic that you did it.
You know what's hilarious? I used to work in the tech department at school. Everything is outdated me. I am an old dinosaur and I don't understand.
Oh, I am not a fan of computers, and this is all becoming new, this whole YouTube thing. So, but you did well. You did very well.
Oh, so are you Miss Joan?
Yes, I am Miss Joan.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
And how do you pronounce your first name?
Genesis.
Genesis. Okay. You know what? I think I like it better without the headset on. I can hear you good too.
So yeah, we're on a little early, but if you want to, I mean, I had the preview for it on, so it's up to you if you want to start now or if you want to wait until the designated time. It's up to you. But I just needed to wait this long because I didn't get home till 6, and I knew I was going to take forever trying to get this. And I didn't want to lose my mind in the process.
Oh my gosh. With the QHHT session, I swear I went nuts. I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I get this working? And so I completely understood what you meant by having that acclimated time prior. Session, I swear I went nuts. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah. Is it doing the delay?
No, I pulled up the actual page to see, and it runs after us. So yeah, there is a delay, but this is good. That was just with the echo to have YouTube up. Anyway, so you did your QHHT. Who was your practitioner?
Oh my gosh. Sorry. I feel like I get on a spot and I freeze. Deer in a headlight. Wow.
I mean, it doesn't matter. If you want to give her props and it just comes up.
Yeah, Alyssa. Because there's Alyssa and Elena. Elena does the but I want to give her her first and last name here. If you want to talk about yours is so much more interesting, and we all know the name of you're Lori, right? You had
Laura. Yeah, Laura. Yeah, she was incredible. I love her accent. Her voice was very relaxing and engaging, so it was really easy to focus. But it was, I had heard a lot of people say that they did not at all believe what they were saying, that they weren't under deep enough, and they had to have made that crap up. And I have heard all kinds of things like that because it is different than you anticipate.
Yeah.
You think you're just be laying there, and then after you awake, and you'll know what happened, but you know what's going on the whole time.
Yeah, yours, like at times I don't really feel energy too often. I shut myself down, I think, too much lately. Um, Yours really drew out some deep emotional stuff I've been carrying. And if people have not had a QHHT session, I really recommend it, especially if they already have that inclination or somewhat inner knowing. Am I making sense?
Yeah, no, I mean that's how we assist with our light in the first place. That's, it's not because you said that one thing and snapped somebody into awakening. It's all energy and frequency, and that talks to us on levels outside of hearing. It's feeling and connecting on that level.
The other senses waking up. My official waking up to a lot more of the energetic field happened maybe 2 years ago. I had the Kundalini, what they would call the Kundalini awakening.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
still
all.
have it.
You haven't had like the chakra?
Nope.
No?
I
Oh
get
my.
zaps all the time, and I've had more and more on different parts of my body and simultaneously. So, and because this topic has continuously come up, I assume it's about to happen, but it has not. So, what was it like for
Oh,
you?
when it was a matter of somebody else. This is when I learned about energy. They had come up behind me out when I was out west, and they put their hand at my lower chakra because I was always anti don't chakra me kind of thing. And they just abruptly came up with the energy and it just shot right up. All of a sudden I was two different people. So I went through flash. Actually, prior to it, I went through what I call what I called my sister right after it happened. I lived 30 lifetimes in 5 hours. I remember is shooting back in the chair I was sitting in and just lifetimes flashing through like in split second moments, but me living through the whole lifetime. And when I came back forward, now this wasn't a chakra thing, but when I can't explain half this stuff that's happened to me in my life. When I shot forward, I opened my eyes and I look, I'm like, are you kidding me? And I called my sister. I said, I need this to be noted because it's something so out of the ordinary. Well, out of the ordinary for me, but a lot of out of the ordinary things have happened throughout my life. So I'm more or less at the beginning stage of understanding things, but know something is happening. I know I know a lot about me, but like I'm here with my mom. My mom's in her room, but I have nobody to speak to except for people on the internet now that can help me understand. I've gone to shrinks throughout my life and I've had to push them away because knowing that there's something wrong. But it's the Kundalini, that was something extraordinary because it really, I was seeing on different levels. I was seeing people. If you had a person in front of me, but they were a different being, I would see that different being. I wouldn't see the person. So it was really profound. And I was out in Arizona, so I started seeing a lot of stuff, but I have a feeling that you already do.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like what the hell would happen to me if I had my Kundalini awakening? I'm
That's right.
already
I don't think I'd be on this plane any longer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm curious about that because when probably a couple of months ago, I was seeing like a paintbrush of color just little swoops of energy in my house, just here and there. And then colors have added to it. Now there's about 3 colors. In the last 2 weeks, most of them have been a gold and white.
Oh.
Yeah, just sitting here in my living room. And I'm looking around, there's no crystals shining. It's happening. But it went from little tiny swoops to like, it's getting bigger and bigger. So I feel like I'm fucking merging into 5D right now. And several of the channelers have said you will, and I mean channelers, not QHHT sessions of Power Conscious, like channelers. The light beings, the bringers of light. That's my I love
the golden white.
You see, he's so precious. Anyway, he talks about how you will be in and out and in and out and on and off, and it will become a game of you to, as you get comfortable with it, to finally decide which realm you want to be in, until there will absolutely come a time where you're just 5D. You're here, there, you're there, you're here, you're there. Then you choose to be here and there and here and there, and it's fun. And then you're just 5D because you're ready. And he says there's no running from it. You can either go in love or you can go kicking and screaming. But once the energy of the world is ready, the shift.
I was told I was going to go kicking and screaming. I'm like, this was a year ago. I had done a meditation with a group of people, but I opened my eyes during the meditation, and they were on it was a YouTube, and they were the stick figure. Now, watching Ghost Hunters back in the day, that would mean
Zach Bucket of fancy pants.
You know what I mean?
You got a whole lot of bazinga going on those pockets, buddy.
Don't make me pee my pants.
They were cute. It was fun to watch them.
They were. Oh my gosh. But when it comes to like seeing shadows and seeing things, I have, but really, this is what's been happening is on such a larger scale, and it's more repetitive. But I have noticed that for someone like me, when you're staying with somebody who wants nothing to do with it, does not want to know anything, maybe it's the fear of I'm not sure. I've noticed I put it back a little bit, and I'm getting a lot of, like the whole kicking and screaming thing. But to be aware, I've had rain in my old house, which was not a very good energy. They were coming to me, the rainbow orbs. I had videos and ended up taking them down, thinking, okay, I'm nuts now. Everybody's already moved up. I'm stuck here, kind of thing. But I was getting rainbow orbs. I had a pink orb, and they're talking to me right now. I had a pink orb, a blue orb, and a rainbow orb. Dude,
you got to share the orbs, man. I got to see the orbs.
I think thinking that I was going crazy, because the stuff that I have gone through 2 years ago out in Arizona, I've seen a giant. I mean, like, I've experienced a lot of things, and coming from a Bible thumping background where I was just like, whew, and then learning and then reading on my own the Dead Sea Scrolls, knowing that the Bible and how the Messiah actually came to me. He said that there was something wrong, that what was written is not what he wanted. We are not supposed to worship him. Things like this. This was out in 2008. So, but moving forward, I took care of my sister for a year and a half when she had brain cancer. They told her she would live for 6 months. And my theory is nobody dies on my shift. And my sister, she lasted a year and a half.
Oh,
and the doctors
triple the time.
Pardon?
She got triple the time.
She
Three
she wasn't happy in the beginning, but yeah.
times.
Oh, one day in her kitchen, I had been, and this happened to me once prior, but I felt like I was pulled down and heels smacked onto her kitchen floor, and I had to grab the counter because I was shaking. Like I was, as if I was at a higher realm, which I mean, I know my higher self a little more,
Mhm.
in a sense, if I know what dimension I really belong in, if not further up. But I felt as though I was brought down, though. Like I was on my mission until I went and I got detoured by helping her. I'm not exact. Okay, so I'm speaking on something I don't know exactly about, but it did fit. Will have to say it felt as though I was pulled down and hit, and that happened to me at two different times. And she was behind me the one time and sitting in a chair, and I asked her, I said, "Did you see that?" No, I was like, "Well, did you feel that?" Because I had to grab the counter because it felt like an earthquake. And she says, "No." I've talked to Shrink about it, and he was like, "Okay, you gotta go." So
Even the Bible verses say there'll be two people in a field, and one will so it could be the same thing, not necessarily shift, but being in touch, tapping into other levels. Person
yeah,
next to you could be completely oblivious. Yeah, easily.
yeah. I will have to say though, the people that are passing away really have nothing to fear. I truly
Agreed.
believe in that we go into another dimension or whatnot. My sister, when before she passed, I had her promise me that she would come to me because when people
Give
are
me
passing,
a message.
I was like, show yourself. But I asked her to do that before or when she crossed over, and she really did for a whole week.
Oh,
Now, when you astroplane, w- you astroplane, right? With
I
your
have
dream, I
OBEs.
call it.
So yeah, OBEs and lucids, I think yeah,
Okay, obese. I'm not
out of body experience.
out of.
So it would be astral.
Okay,
I think, yeah.
I'm still learning these new age terms too.
I I could
Yeah.
use it 1 minute and not know what you're talking about 5 minutes from now. If it just catches me off
So
guard, I'm like, oop.
okay, I'm not. It is part of the whole bouncing around thing. Then okay. Cause
Yeah.
yeah, 1 minute you
So
do know. Go ahead.
my mom smiled when she died, when she passed. She died with a smile, a blissful, peaceful, beautiful face.
Good.
And she looked freaking 20 years younger. I did her hair and her makeup for the casket, for the viewing. She was 61 when she passed. She looked 40. She looked beautiful. It was
Oh,
just like this, all the horrible struggle and pain. She had cancer everywhere. It was gone when whatever she saw when she was releasing, it was dope. She
yep.
was like,
Yeah, exactly. And
what
you
was I afraid of? If I would have known this was it, I would have ran towards it. Yeah.
oh my god. So, keep me in line if I go all over too much. Um,
I'll interrupt you.
please do because I get really excited when I get to talk to people that are on the page of understanding. Um,
Well, that's what my little teeny tiny intimate page is about, is the people that are not all up in the light, like as far as being popular or popular channel or thousands of followers. This is like an intimate, real people to people. We may
yes,
only have 2 weeks left. We got to talk.
I know. I listened to your video, your awakening video. I'm like, oh my gosh, like really, are we like that much of a crunch? That's why I'm excited. It had me excited, but at the same time, it's like, did I do enough? Did I do what I came here for at this level per se? But I'm glad that you have been doing what you're doing. I really do appreciate it. I know a couple years, about a year or so ago, everybody rushed to get YouTube channels and get them real big. And to me, it felt as though it was kind of like a cult thing people were doing, was trying to.
Yeah.
I've got so many theories on it, so I really kept away from doing lives until now because it is getting intense. Elena, I think it's Elena, does channeling also. She talks to the Pleiadians. She's actually really in tune, connected with one of the Pleiadians. And he says that it's going to be, the 21st is going to be big, but it's not going to be what some are perceiving it to be.
Like
Um,
70% of the population just drops dead and their spirits go up into a spaceship.
you know? And but
My
he
channeling said a portion will happen similar to that, but not.
and it could be I was ran into a guy at the gas station. He was pretty much homeless when earlier today, and I was whatever. Okay, that's gone because it just went that quick. But
The
yep,
spirit's keeping you on track too.
yeah, I love it. But it definitely anyway. So it's one of those. Some are gonna. I know that I'm connected with other beings. I definitely know that. Um, Until my soulmate's not here, but we're connected at the heart. Which, when we were talking about this, I really felt them around, and a lot of at times, I'm sure you do too. You can feel them around you.
Oh, I don't think I'm ever alone. When I go to the bathroom, I'm like, not while I'm wiping my butt.
Right?
Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
How do you feel about the collective? About the that's another movement that's going on too. Is the world collective? They're trying to energetically connect us all.
Well, we are already
Hmm.
being consciously aware of it. If it's just a general intention of light, love, and connection, I'm all about it.
Right.
If there's any Kool-Aid, I'm not going to drink it.
I
But
agree on that
it's
one.
just a love intention. I'm down. I'm in. There are soul groups, uh, vibing on the same frequency, similar frequencies, and so there's clusters of people, and you could be in Turkey and New York and Midland, Texas, but it's just there's these soul groups that create sections or of the higher, and that goes on and on for infinity until the one. So that's what my session told me, was that each of those soul groups that are here right now will pass in similar ways, like December 21st.
Okay.
And passing could be uh, shedding their body in some sort of particle physics kind of way while they're being transported to a UFO. I have no idea. It didn't tell me that.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I had cried out because again I've I've known since I was little that I don't belong here. Like this is not my official. Anyway,
Same here.
I was arched up and it felt as something was, I don't know if my soul was supposed to be leaving or if something was trying negative was pulling out of me. But I think I was going to go. I think I was going to go a couple times already, and I'm no, 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 no. If I can do more work, I want to stay. And then I get those moments like, why do I do this? Why am I still here? I think I know I've got a lot of, I know, and I feel like I'm talking about me too much here.
Yeah, well, I am interviewing you or chatting with you, so you are supposed to talk about yourself. It's all good. I mean, we're going to try to comb it to the general like interest, but your
Look,
stories may be that for someone. It's like I
yeah,
was for you.
you definitely your energy and how, as you spoke before about the energy, and It really did. It really helped me. It triggered some things within me as a reminder of what I remember as a child. And again, I think that people really, if they feel connected to the stars, if they feel connected to a planet, to really look within themselves and ask questions, because now is definitely the time. I've seen UFOs growing up and have been worried and freaked out. I've seen them out in Arizona, and I literally waved them, told them, no, get out of here. And it literally left.
Yeah,
Now I'm like, what, you too?
I mean, I've had my encounters, but I was on this UFO like meetup Zoom meeting last week, and there was some fearful people in there that all the ETs are not believing they're gonna, everybody wants to be probed and they act like they're mad about it. But there was a couple of people that were hung up on the whole, well, I said in Jesus's name, and I said it wouldn't have mattered if you would have said Fred's name. They felt you didn't want it, and so they left. And I offended a couple of people, and I'm like, the dude you call Jesus is on one of those ships,
Yes. Yes.
Like, it says it in the friggin' scrolls or the Bible, that he will leave as he came here on a golden chariot. He will return as he left on a golden chariot. What is a golden chariot? Let's think. It's not being dragged by horses.
No.
But they're on this plane. And have you ever seen William Henry's Arcanum? It's on Gaia. Oh, so cool. There's a couple of free episodes on YouTube, but he has like 5,000 years worth of art from different cultures all over the world, and shows how many of them have spaceships in the back, like for thousands of years.
I've done my own. Yeah.
They're all talking about us and our ascension process and weighing your heart against a feather and the journey we take to move on to the next level. And that's where we're at right now. And that's why it's so incredible. We're doing it instead of individually, we're doing it as a collective.
Mm-hmm. There's been, this would probably be maybe the second or third real wave of it. I was part of, not really knowing, but feeling like I was supposed to be doing it. I went with the first wave, but I didn't stay. Am I making sense?
Was that in the 80s or?
Okay, well, technically, as in separate groups that are happening, I probably did in the 80s too. No, it was technically these last couple of years.
Oh.
I've been paying attention to ensure that I'm doing what is right and not, because I'm aware of AI and, the archons, eons, all that stuff, trying to be aware of me and not just following a group and
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. There was a whole lot of that dark, creepy shit in my QHHT that I left out.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna, because when people astro travel, if they're not protected, there are other things going on in that realm that will attach to you if you're not careful.
Yeah, I had one after it lodged right in my neck. It felt like there was a massive slug attached right here, like not centered. And that was after the QHHT. It
Really?
felt like it weighed 2 or 3 pounds. It was so weird. And I was like, I do not consent. Get off me and get out.
This is my vessel. Leave me alone.
Yeah, and I just realized it was gone finally, but it was there even up until this afternoon.
Now, you had just spoken about getting a message about attachments during the QHHT.
Well, and I emailed Laura, and she was like, "Oh yeah, that happens, but you're a beautiful blast of light, and you tell it to And I did, and it worked.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh my gosh.
Let's see.
Wow.
I do these silly songs. They're not silly, they're fun. For for these weekly beat challenges, because I just love making music. I started doing it for my son when he was like 14, 15. We just started doing it together and having a good time. But I just made a song that has David Icke talking in it. And I just put it in the link, but it's called AI.
Oh. Now, see, I'm going to have to listen to that because that's another thing that people are really not aware. And I keep letting my mom know, stop getting these shots. You don't realize what they're putting in you and why they have 5D and all this other stuff going on. And through a higher channeling, they say that we're the human collective has grown and we are on a different path, that we are really close to wiping shit out. Which excites me because I've dealt with I've encountered a reptilian. It's not cool. It's not even the energy. Like, I'm not always keen to energy, but theirs is so, you just know it's staticky in a sense, and just, yeah, it's.
Yeah, I've talked to some people that worked on bases, and I used to do some crazy artwork for some people, and who claimed they were side by side with them, and that all their training did not prepare them for that first encounter. That they were like, freaked them out, completely freaked them out.
Yeah, because they're. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I've been watching stuff like Star Wars and Farscape to acclimate my mind to being around a zillion kinds of beings.
I cannot wait, except for the few that I have physically already, which again is not the kind you want to encounter. But when in my sleep state, they've brought me up, and I don't know if it's Saturn's rings, but they had me on the rings of a planet. I had no suit on, nothing, but they had me on the rings of a planet, and I got to see this beautiful galaxy, the stars and everything.
So you were just out in the open?
Out in the open, yeah. And
I had that happen on mushrooms once. I wrote a song about that too.
No, this is me. I stopped taking my depression, all kinds of medicines years ago, and just to take this journey and be real about it. And yeah,
Bravo.
it's been intense. It does, because you want to say, okay, I'm supposed to take mental medication. Am I really gone crazy? But they there's ways they ensure you that everything is fine. I do want to point out, though, and especially during these last bit, if this really is the kickoff on the 21st, that we really need to protect ourselves, because I'm one that I know for sure that I really need to make sure I'm protecting myself better. But they're looking for people, the other crap is looking for people to hold down and to try and I'm getting want to take over your body because they want the joyride kind of thing, but they're not going to make it.
I had very similar messages a couple of weeks ago. I woke up shouting, hold your light, because they don't have enough bodies. They need bodies. And so I saw some unsuspecting people get taken for the dark side, the deep state collaborations, last mill, gathering a whole bunch of unsuspecting souls because they're being pushed out or leaving, which it makes no sense if we're leaving, why are we all leaving? Let them have the 3D planet after Gaia leaves. But yeah, supposedly I saw a very similar thing that some people, but they will have agreed to do that prior to.
That's
supposedly.
Pardon?
Supposedly.
Yeah,
I mean, I believe in soul contracts, but I think all that's up in the air once we're doing the change.
From my understanding, at least a group of us were on this YouTube site that people, because there's people that are really aware of their innate power of true divinity that is within. And I think that's how I've gotten myself caught up into like laying low and doing nothing, because sometimes we don't realize how strong we really are in just speaking. I tell my mom all the time, be careful what you say. Don't say that around me. Don't put that on me. But we don't realize, especially how much the closer we get to this 5D, and some of us really are in 5D, that when we speak on somebody or something in general, things
like happen.
Our words are. And now I come from
not witchcraft. They're powerful, and we're manifesting. And
the Messiah even stated, that we're very powerful beings, and once we start realizing more about ourselves, the more empowering we get. And yeah, that's what I think the other crap is trying to do too, is stand in my power. I get from everybody. Make sure you stand in your power. And words can mean different things to many people, but it's, for me, I'm starting to believe at the end of the line, I start to understand, is to really know me and not to be deterred by what somebody else thinks or thinks of me or and whatnot.
Yeah, that's truly being in your power.
That's good to know.
It's beautiful. And I totally get you, because I've spent most of my life, all my life, thinking, wow, I'm a little bit south of normal. Because I thought everybody channeled and had closet sessions with some collective of consciousnesses that, when I talked about it, my friends were like 7, 8 years old going, you did what? And so I stopped talking about it, and I spent most of my life feeling very lonely. But as you said, there's always some sort of gentle reminder from the universe and that collective of yours, where passers-by, they will just be passing through town, and they happen to be where you are at the campsite for the night, and you get that soul food and that connection, and then they're on their way and you're on your own again.
Yeah, I know. There's your season. Sorry. Time to move on. No.
Yeah. Keep on keeping on.
I know.
Something I'm having a hard time with, because what is our point? What is our purpose to be light bringers and, galactic star seeds and all this, if everybody is on their own journey, and it is not our responsibility to say the right thing or whatever to anyone, because we are on our own journey. And supposedly the holdup of the galactic is because of soul contracts, and how many people are like insistent that they want to wake up on their own. They don't want to be bitch slapped awake. And so that's why there hasn't been a broadcast. And, there's like, they're waiting until the last second to finally do that. You're awake, and now you're crystalline, and now you're gone. Don't worry about them. You'll join them.
Right. So what? Okay. And break down real quick. What is your definition of being awake? Because to me, we've both been awake.
Be awake until we are crystalline. I think we can tap in and out of that, and we're all in the process of awakening. But when you're awake, that veil is lifted. You're in your crystalline body, and you are that much more tapped into source and all it is. You remember who you are and your origins. You know and feel your connection. You're aware of one another telepathically and beyond. That is awake to me.
Okay.
And we are all in the process of remembering that potential and possibility and becoming that frequency. That's my
That's
definition.
your okay.
That's my stance. Yeah.
You absolutely. Oh my gosh. So I've definitely tapped in multiple times and got to hold it for a bit. Um, I can't wait. I can't wait. But I keep hearing, you still got to be careful. See, now this is where I want to know, but
Let
uh,
me tell you right now, it is you being in your love vibration. That is your protection. All you've got to be is sitting in your heart and your trust and your love and feeling that excitement, and you will not be sucked up in the wrong freaking saucer.
that's
It sucks because if that is an actuality
I
of
believe it.
a last collection for a feast, um, is sadly unsuspecting, barely waking. Don't look. I mean, there's plenty of people that are way more awake than either of us are who have never heard of any of this. They're just pure, loving, sweet people who have not been ruined by life. And they're tapped in energetically. They don't need all this, you know?
Yeah.
And even though I've remembered this my whole life, I've needed it. But it was also really kind of, did I answer your question? Your love
Yeah.
is your protection.
Yes,
Okay. I didn't want to just like walk away from that. If is that where you were going though? You're like nervous. You don't want to get on the wrong.
well, what kind of makes me nervous is when I came back from Arizona, I was dealing with reptilian wake, like turning around, and it was right there in my bed. And this lady, yeah, oh
It's
yeah.
on my QHHT session. I will actually email you that divot because it's way too personal.
So
Keep going.
this is why I knew I was connected to you for a reason. Oh, you're giving me chills. Okay, now I can. Now I'm
I
starting to
know
come
my
out of
was
my shell.
too.
I couldn't. My shell. I love it.
Right when you said you felt them on your bed, I was like, yes, they tried to make a hybrid.
What do you with me?
Me.
You?
I mean, it could have been you. Yeah.
I'm vexing.
Yeah. Where you been?
That's probably why they were pissed.
Oh man, I just got her off for nothing.
Oh my gosh.
I was not fixed at the time, but that was the first time I learned how to break through from paralysis. It was when that thing was wearing my boyfriend's clone and got in bed next to me. I busted out of my paralysis. That was the first time I figured out
You
how
could
to.
see him that he wasn't your
Oh,
boyfriend.
100%. Well, there was all kinds of other people that were about 50% opaque, about a dozen people in my room, and it was eyes wide shut. Like there was about to be a ceremony of this thing wearing my boyfriend. And I knew when Dave was at home, we had already said our love yous and good nights, and I was passing out. And the next thing I know, I'm like, am I tripping? Because I had just got back from Las Vegas and I had been sleep deprived. But that is that realm in between awake and asleep where you are tapped in. And the
Yeah.
opaque doesn't. And then dude walks in naked, and I felt the weight of his presence get on my bed. And it was not Dave. I knew that, but the energy of it was icky. And
Yeah.
my soul was screaming, wake up, until I freaking sat up. And all their faces were like jumping, and they freaking vanished. It was freaky.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you do. Yeah, because they got it had me in its fear because again, what I encountered out there blew my mind. Um, the experiences I had gone through,
Mine was in Mesa, Arizona.
where it may I'm thinking, is that where they have no, it's Sedona, I think, where I was at, where it has the giant hands.
Yeah. Hand of
Stone.
God. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we were literally there was a group of us that were literally there. It's the stuff I want to leave behind, but it is very important for people to understand because people are being drawn to that area. There's skinwalkers there. I seen them.
It's not all negative. There's skinwalkers here too. I'm right by East City. But it's not, it depends on the person. So when you're explaining that to people, don't put your projection first, like my experience was, and allow them to have theirs, because theirs may be very benevolent and beautiful. And it's, instead of saying, oh, this was a really scary movie.
All right, we're gonna leave it like that, just so I don't get into it, because it was definitely, it was. Granted, I'm not gonna bullshit. It really was an extraordinary event, though. All in all, I did get freaked out in some things, but when the giant jumped next to my car, I turned. It went boo, and I turned. I was like, I know your voice, and I thought about it. I'm like, that didn't
say boo.
It did. It said boo. It leaned in front of the window and said boo. And I had two other passengers that I didn't know that I drove out that way. So I even asked them, I was like, did you guys see that? They're like, holy fuck. And one sitting behind me does mental telepathy and was talking to the group that was already there. And the one next to me, I told him when I talked on the phone, I was like, dude, I already know you're stronger than me. And not only that, but him and I put our foreheads together. And it was just something I was drawn to do with him. And we put our foreheads together, and I swear we had sex. I was like,
like feral, spiritual. Yeah, I get that.
You've done that? You said?
Yeah, it's. I think I am more about that than I am intercourse. I am about that spiritual, like tantric.
Okay. That was the first encounter, and it's been over 2 years for me otherwise. But that was
Farscape, the Goofy show I was talking about, that was so great to like acclimate around aliens. There is this beautiful priestess being, and that's how she connects. And they are totally like, but it's just this. Their soul merge. That's supposed to be a lot more like 5D intimacy. It's we don't have genitals like we do here. So it's this very.
So we really are transforming.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think I've already seen. Go ahead.
From what I understand is the people that are mass going on ships to go to New Earth, they're transporting us through soul essence. And as we really tap into our love stream and our integrity and our light, and we're 100% transparent, authentic, telepathy is no problem, because there's no agendas, there's no ego, there's just love, and you're a good person, good being. You very quickly, it could be within a day or a week or a month or a year, begin to create your physicality, and it will never again be like this, ever. We will, the closer we get, the higher we get, the less dense we will be. But the next level is supposedly crystalline, so you can see it, you can feel it, but it's not like this at all. And there's different levels, and you will go with your soul collective. Freaky, when I was 13, I heard that the humanity experiment was the end of it, and we're all going back to source. And that was the vision I got. Everything was, yeah. But we're infinite. We're not staying there. We're just taking a break.
I'm going to explain something on my drive to Arizona. But when did this happen for you?
1983.
In 83. On my way out to Arizona, I was getting a lot of information, and sometimes the information will come through, and there's no pause time. It's flushing right out. And one of the things that came through was we're all going home. The other one, and this was literally 2 years ago, last month, we're all going home. It's going to be kind of like a salt and pepper, where the earth is going to shake. In a sense, it's how it was perceived to me. It's going to shake, but we're lifting up. She's shaking.
Yeah, the amazing separation, 3D and 5D kind of.
Now that people are talking about things, yeah. Also, I was in the I was in the bathroom out there, and I come flying out of the bathroom. I'm like, oh my gosh, all the layers are crunching down. I had 5 layers of shirts on, and I was pulling the first layer down. And as I was doing that, first layer, second layer, so forth, they were telling me that's exactly what we're doing. We're clearing out the wrinkles. So now, with people really breaking things down, I think what I was perceiving was all these different timelines. Do you know if you timeline jump?
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
and we say that in my QHHT. We asked if I was part of the secret space program when I was a child because of the series of events, and they laughed and said she has worked with us on many timelines.
oh, I feel joy. I close my eyes and I see rainbow. Aww.
Yeah, and I was like 7.
I think that's.
I wonder if I know Corey good.
That's what I was just thinking about. Was that him? Were you hanging with him? No doubt.
I don't know, but the very first time I heard him say that there are people that can't handle it, that he was very fortunate because his mental faculties could handle doing the 20-year pops to and from a few times. But some people, if they tried it a second time, it jacked them up and they became sort of autistic. And I went from being prodigious to autistic between 7 and 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
I could write in cursive and in beautiful hand. In second grade, I was reading in high school level. I was the fastest runner. I could figure out any math. I was drawing beautiful nudes. I was a prodigious little second grader. And by the time third grade came around, I started wetting the bed. I was drooling on my paper and just be a pin mark across it when the bell would ring. It was a totally different person.
Wow.
And when he said that, my knees buckled. My legs went out from under me. And I was like, God, that would explain so much, because I remember so much. And all those memories are being freaking confirmed now. The whole world is finally talking about shit I grew up with my entire life and thought I was, like I said, a little south of normal. I thought, if I was in PPS or the SSP, thank you, dyslexia, that just makes sense. And but they didn't say, they said it was, they didn't call it that, but that, yes, I worked with them on many timelines. So you were talking.
Yeah, because I call it discussions with myself, I guess. I swear I get questioned okay, well, is this what I'm doing? And I think I've been jumping around trying to clear things up on each timeline. I don't know if it's a personal clear up my act on each timeline.
Like more
lately than this past
everybody who is awakening and who have been in the know, we're all doing that. We're doing those final purging, final sweep throughs, final clearing, forgiveness, and that next level of it. We're all doing it.
Okay, this is good because good to know. This is really happening, and this is wonderful because it's like, you know what? Now I'm really going to be able to, even especially what's happened this past week, doing the QHHT and then talking with Alyssa and Elena.
The channeler?
The channeler. Yes, Elena's the channeler that does the channeling. She's also a druid and a shaman. Her connection is with a Pleiadian, and he's even told, I actually bought her book, but her and I spoke about it too. He's told her that, listen, this is your mission. You got things to take care of down here. You're learning stuff. She was an archaeologist in Egypt also. So She's got to experience a lot of those energies and stuff. And it's like, wow, girl.
She's probably a very, very ancient being. Because depending on what your belief system is, and if you tomato it,
It's wide open now.
it became one, it became two, it became three, and now there's billions and billions or trillions of us. So the ancient beings were, some of the first to become consciously aware of self. And if she has had lots and lots of connections to those beautiful being Druid and Egyptian and whatnot, she's probably very what you would call old.
Yes.
Yep.
I've been told that by another druid, I was told that I was here when this earth began. I've been here since it began.
Well, that's why you and I know each other. This was supposedly my idea. I had a group and we found a planet because we were all one race, one culture per planet. And I wrote songs about this. I had no idea I was channeling the truth. And we found Earth and we seeded it to be habitable for the most flora and fauna and beings to coexist and expand our infinite experience. So, hi, sister.
Hi, sister. And they talked to me when you were saying that. And they gave me the chills.
Yeah, I know. I'm totally. I wish the camera would pick up all the energy that. So you know that too. You know that. See, that's beautiful. That's why we connected.
I've been asking, and Elena's another one that I feel connected, but it was weird. I don't even know how I found your channel.
Yeah, because it's not big.
It just popped up, and I was like, "This looks. I gotta check her out," And because I've been asking, I'm like, okay, I get leery about these people and that people, and this collective that's got 100 went from nobody to 100 and something. I don't want to get caught up into something a soul trap kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, please help me find my people. I know my people are still here. Help me find them. So I was a little disappointed when I did my QHHT and I didn't get very far. But yes.
Especially if you paid that. I did not pay that for Laura.
No.
Mine was $1.50 less than what you said. Just so you know, if you want to look her up.
And last year, I think she's already been to 5D. I know she actually, let me tell you, Laura already has been. She's already been there. I've been watching her for over a year, and she's amazing.
And for our one viewer right now, Laura Whitworth is the one who did my QHHT channeling that we both.
She's got. I messaged her one day telling her that she's one of the energies I actually can feel, and that has a wonderful mother presence to it. And yeah, she's truly amazing. I didn't have the money back then to get it done. I just so happened to have it. And Laura was so busy. But right after I get mine done, she has openings. I'm like, Lord. All right, what's not fun.
So check it.
Sorry.
No, you're totally the same point. I had no idea. I had talked to 2 other QHHTs. I was, for whatever reason, very attracted to the people in Europe and Australia and New Zealand and South Africa, not here. And 2 of them were like, no, I want to keep it on my continent, or I only do it in person. And I didn't even ask her. And I was like, the Conversations with Heaven on Earth, I think they're in New Zealand. And I was like, we'd had a couple of emails go back and forth. I'm like, you know what? I can manifest this. I just manifested 2 cans of Lysol, and I haven't been able to buy any in months. And I wanted to see the Lord of the Rings before the end of the world. And all of a sudden, HBO Max put it up online. Like all this week, this has happened. And I
Oh,
was like, so if I can do that, I can get me a freaking QHHT that I can afford. And my unemployment sent me like the waiting week of money. So I got extra money all of a sudden. And then I was screening or on YouTube and she said, I have a cancellation for tomorrow, like last second.
yeah.
Just,
That's fantastic. Now,
yeah.
did you find out if you were like a rock, a plant, a tree, and so forth before?
No, I talked about almost taking over as a planet, but
I heard that.
I didn't, I'm not yet. We all will.
Yeah,
We
I
all
learned
will.
I learned that 2 years ago how that about that. And ironically, there's people right now that are actually creating the other.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be like a new Earth. There's technically, from what I was told, there's three.
Yeah, I can't imagine we're all going to one. We are so diversified, even down into our soul essence.
I mean, there
Even
could be
though we
more
are
than
all
one.
one, there are experiences that it will take probably another lifetime or two of crystalline and more layers before we can energetically on a soul level even vibe with each other. I mean, did we fuck this experience up on Earth or what? I I have felt so guilty and I get all emotional about it. And I'm like, God, I'm crazy as they make them. But it's
Yeah, we did. Yeah. But the other thing is too, is we are on this planet with another, more than one being, which I've been told, I've heard, and that it's part of the Orion system, that it's a collective of very negative energies, beings. Now we're here with them, we've been here with them, and I think that's what the best part too is we're finally going to separate from them. They're separating us from them, or technically we are from ourselves doing so. It's a big adventure. I
well, that's something I didn't post from the channeling, but we were talking about how we we connected energetically with beings from other planets because we were the one race per planet and we wanted to coexist and we came here, right? And what happened with the separation? And in the channeling I said they were beings that were not beautiful, and everybody, all the other beings were like commingling and creating little hybrids, I guess you would say.
Aw.
And they did not feel accepted or beautiful or part of us the way that most were. And they that I refer to, um, we say they're dark or they're evil or they're mean or they're bad or whatever, but they're just little rebel shits that separated into their own flow. And we're all at the very top of the essence outer level. Yes, we are one flow. But here in 3D, we are separate. They are the polarity or the duality. And we had to, it was the Anki or Inky and
Inky and
Inu.
Enlil.
Yeah. So that supposedly had something to do with us leaving. But I'm talking Lemuria, not the Garden of Eden. They looked like monks, but they were not. They started bringing in rule and law and coming down on us for being beautiful, loving beings. And that's when we went inner earth and separated because we had to run for our lives because they were not about our collective experience anymore. They were like, you're going to do what we say or we will kill you or
That
torture you.
That's who I went and seen out west in Arizona. I didn't realize till I was on my way out there that those were the souls of the people that I was going to see. And I got out there and I was open hearted. And I've been fighting for 2 years to get back to that because I was so open hearted. I was running around loving on everybody. We would do group hugs, and literally, I was being told I was lifting everybody up off the ground. I was asked by a guy in UK, where are we going? And this is when I started to understand more of my power. And he goes, where are we going? And I look over at him and realize, like, we're off the ground. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, where are you taking us? Jokingly, I'm a little kid, I'm all high on happiness. I don't know. Where do you want to go? You're the one driving. Where are we going? And meanwhile, in his big group of like 30 of us, there's this poor 18-year-old kid. This is another me learning about vibration. He is vibrating so bad. Like he's in convulsions. The energy is so intense in this circle.
Too much too soon.
Pardon?
He had too much too soon. He didn't have time to acclimate.
So I think he fully became crystalline right then. But come to find out so for me, this mental telepathy whole collective has me, standing on the back edge, because of when I was out there, he did a lot of mental telepathy with everybody, and he was trying to really connect with everybody. And there's his video, because they showed it to me afterwards, like, oh my God, do you see yourself? I literally had white shining out of my hands, out of my head, out of my whole body. And that's when I really realized I'm not crazy. I really am not. I'm like, I really am. This is wonderful. But I came back because I had something attached to me. And I didn't really realize it. I knew something was different because I wasn't as happy, but I knew something was different. And I was spending time with this guy, and I felt something like trying to claw out of me. I was like, okay, we're just going to pretend like this ain't happening, but I need help. And somebody helped me, and she knows how to do the chakras, open them and close them. And so I'm bringing this stuff up for people to really be aware of who they're around right now, especially at this time, because there are people that are already been awake, know how to work their energy, and know how to manipulate other people's energies. So she had closed my heart, and I constantly say that more so than ever. Pardon? She closed. And I would have to say that I can feel the difference a lot of times, because I should be real sensitive to energy. I've always been somewhat sensitive to energy. I would know if somebody was a murderer, somebody's going to die within 6 months. There's certain things that I grew up being able, that I'm aware of. But yeah, she had closed it, and she goes, I'm doing that to protect you. She goes, everybody wants.
What I took.
Pop, what's that?
That's what I took from it.
Is it really is to protect?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I worry about that because of the people. I'd worried about it for one, because of the people that she was around. But I appreciate you stating that also.
Well, you can open it back up with your intention in 1 second.
Yeah, I've been focusing on trying to keep my head here and now, and not, because I can jump to, it seems as though I can jump to the future, possible futures. I'm learning that it's possible, not
timeline.
100%. Yeah. And not only that, but like with tarot readings, when I did tarot cards, I would tell people, I'm going to read this for you. I'm going to give you what I'm feeling from it, but you could walk out and make a left when I'm reading your cards and you're making a right. It's that quick, we could switch things up. But yeah.
In my readings, I never am like, you're going to meet this person and get married and you're going to do this job. Mine's all like your soul work you need to do and the energy and the things you need to clear up and that. I refuse to try to be predictive. I was more guidance of inner self, and then they can find the external stuff easily. So, but when you were talking about not wanting to be a part of a cult or huge channels or whatever, there were I was doing tarot when I moved here, and there's just a few. I've deleted most of them. There's a few left on my channel, but for like 7 months I was told, do not do readings for anyone and go inward, and I just barely was told to come back out like 3 weeks ago. So I feel you. It's not ego driven at all. It's just very, from an off, like a genuine
telling you to stay in, protect yourself.
No, it wasn't about protecting us. You needed to be doing some self work. Don't be flapping your gabs about somebody else. Do your own damn work right now, and then we'll let you back out. We'll let you know when it's time. So like 7 months, I didn't do any readings. I just stayed within, and then for the last 3 weeks, I've been doing readings on here, and people have been calling and getting readings. But for 7 months, it was just me doing my inner work.
So that's what. Because I've been commented that I need to do my homework. I actually went to a church and the pastor said, "You don't like to do your homework, do you?" And I was thrown back. I'm like, wait a minute. Why are you talking on this kind of a level? Because now I know you're either in my head, telepathy kind of thing, or you're hanging out in the higher realm. But he ended up saying some stuff that really messed with me too. But I did notice that in this church in particular, that I was rising, so that things were getting brighter. Do you ever encounter that? I call it rising.
I think that's a beautiful description of it. I judge it by feeling. You said you don't feel energy. I don't see it, but I feel it. I feel my heart expanding. I feel, and when it first started, there was a degree of anxiety to it because it was new and kind of exciting and kind of what the heck is happening. But even within the last week or two, being in my heart space, I know I'm totally vibrating at a higher level, and I have been for a while, but I have acclimated, and therefore a new and higher, more training is about to come in, and I will be going again for a couple of weeks until I am where I am now. And it's levels. I talk about that a lot in the QHHT. Life is a game of levels, I say. And it's microcosm to macrocosm, and everything you see right here is reflected on a larger scale, just like the eye looks like a galaxy, and the blood veins are in the leaves of trees, and like everything is reflected. It's just forever departing and arriving and departing, arriving in different forms, because we are infinite and we're experiencing all things. Like we will be mountains and trees and planets, I guess. I don't know,
In my QHT, it started out and it was very bright, vibrant and vivid. I was in a dome area and it had a dome window and then slat and then dome. And I had a being that had a large head. I would say my height, had big feet. It made me think of the Hobbit. His feet were big. Silver suit and a long badge. Had human-like feature, no hair. I was told it was by the badge. It was a Pleiadian. But they were happy to see me, and I was out in front of a bunch of trees. That was part of my first. I really didn't talk much to them, and then it was like shot out into the trees, and she had me go through some things, and then I actually turned into a tree. I actually was going completely stiff. She had to hurry up and pull me out of it because she goes, "What's going on?" I said, "I'm turning into a tree." And she pulled me out of that and had me go into the next one. And the next one, I'm hovering over a Catholic church, and she's like, "What are you doing there?" And I said, "I'm going to talk to one of the popes." And I go and I'm trying to talk to one of the popes, and all of a sudden a reptilian pops up next to the pope, and the reptilian sees me and tries talking to me. And I'm like, "I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. I will not talk to you." And she
Aw.
what's going on? And she's like, "No judgment, no judgment." But for me, it was kind of rough because I've already had the encounter in person, and here I am in this state with somebody else more or less manning the controls, if you know what I mean. Because
Yeah.
so, and like you said, you're awake, but I have to say, I've been in that heart space where I loved. I loved them all. When I went out west, I loved on them all. I really did. And I met a true legitimate, this woman was a Pleiadian, and I knew it as soon as I met her. And I met other beings also, and I loved them. I gave them all love. I really did. But it was, again, just some whacked out things that happened. But I think that there is a definitely, I do believe, I just don't have the capability of it now at this moment. But I do believe it, that not only I, but I believe a lot of us did bring some of the dark into the light. I really do. That's that's my personal, and I don't know why I'm going off on that, but
No, it's valid because you're not the only person that feels that way. You know, we have that. I think that's why they're here to assist us in this happening now, because and that's why we are not being beamed up in our physical forms, because they're not wanting this shit leaked out all over the universe.
I wouldn't want it.
We are going as our little soul essences, those of us who are just not there yet, you know, just still got a lot of work to do, haven't done any inner work, but enough to transcend anyway, are going into a like a stasis or a hibernation until we are done becoming, and then we will leave our chrysalis and keep the muck from going all over the place, because they've already had battles and problems with agendas and all that. And as the human race elevates and ascends, we ripple affect the entire universe and everything that exists. So all of it will become higher.
Yeah.
And some of them discreetly say not all beings are going to survive. It's because the shitheads that have been anti love and collective are going to recycle back to source. The light, they will not withstand the light. They will recycle back into source and have a very long stasis of experiencing absolutely everything they've ever put anyone through.
I'm not
And
happy about that, but I'm happy that they're going to get to go back and truly feel the essence of love.
oh, I love that that's the option. I'm totally down to experience everything I ever did to anyone, because I am love and I want to know when I veer left instead of right. You know, I'm totally open to experiencing anything I've ever done to anyone, good and not so good. I've never been that terrible, but I've been a mean son of a bitch. When somebody hurt me, I can tell people off like nobody's business.
I would be good like that.
I was not very big until about 10th grade. I finally got adult size. I was a runt until like 9th grade. I was a little twig of a runt, like 70 pounds in 7th grade. My granddaughter was that when she was 9 or 10, and she's gorgeous and proportionate. I was just a twig. And I had bullies, and I learned how to be the funniest, freakiest motherfucker on the playground to protect myself.
Nice.
So it became really easy, like a rapper busting a flow. Like I just knew how to put somebody in their place. And I've had to do a lot of work to stop that. And I've burned some bridges I did not mean to burn. Because this was like, Sorry, Iris. I love you. Thank you for taking care of my grandchild. Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think being here with my mom has been one of my officials, and I've even been told by the last lady I spoke to that she's here to make, like, I'm going through this right now to make me stronger, because I actually have an apartment I should be moving into in about a week. And that lady had said that really Christian lady, but she goes to me, she calls me up, and I get there, and she tells me, she goes, as soon as I touched your paper, she said, Jesus told me to give this apartment to you. She goes, you're not next in line. But he told me, and I was like, "Are you
Aw,
kidding me?"
that's
That's
adorable.
growing up. Right, because for me, growing up, I always would
What?
say, "Go ahead."
And you're going to move in right before the shift, or are you going to wait to
I
see if the shift
know,
is
right?
happening? I mean, you might want to postpone it till the 22nd.
Well, the way I see it is, I'm actually going to get my solitude beforehand.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Even
I'm
if
going
it's
to
just a
really
week.
do, huh?
Even for a week. Yeah.
Yeah, to really make sure that I am at my highest vibration. Because right now I'm in a big apartment complex with people that are older, and dealing with watching the news 24/7. So it's been heavy,
Yeah.
and I'm shocked I'm shocked I'm feeling as pumped as I've been, but it really has been for people like you and Elena, getting to actually one-on-one talk with people to get out what is real to me, which is real to many of us, but is real to me.
Mhm.
Because when my mom has the news on and she'll have it on for 20 minutes, I am just so, I jump on her and I'm like, I'm sorry. I've told you.
Not hear that. Feel the
It's
same way.
It's like, can't you feel, and I've expressed to her, I'm like, can't you feel that aggravation that's coming from it? I'm like, yeah, they're talking sweet, but can't you feel that?
Fear, anger.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
no, thank you.
No, I quit. I quit cable TV and any kind of TV, any kind of commercial. I don't listen to radio, any commercials. I quit like over a decade ago. Not having it.
You know, so I'm curious because you're like, you're gonna wait for the shift. That is one thing that freaked me out. The lady's like, so we need you to have this paper signed just in case you die. The moment she said that, I'm like, they're coming to get me, aren't they?
I mean, it's the first thing you thought of, so
It
maybe.
really is. I'm like, they're coming to get me. And then she's like, or if you go to jail. And I looked at her, I'm like, what am I going to jail for? They're coming to get me. But
Yeah.
yeah, she was just like, it's just a precaution. So you're really amping feeling it the 21st, huh? Like that's actually,
Hey, that's a
I
soul
know.
group situation.
Okay.
In my QHHT, it says that I'm going directly to my family
I heard.
for a break. And I assume that I will go through a very similar process on the level I need to go to, because I seem to very much want to go there and create my little land of magic and miracles, because there will be many children there without parents, and children, babies, and animals that don't have their people because they did not come through yet. They've still got to live out 3D and recycle and do the thing. And I want to take care of them.
Yeah.
So I will come, and I will have to go through that same process, but me and several other people are, and it could be you. I hear we get to convene with our council, those in the know who know we were not from Earth. We came here to assist this. And you knew since you were a little girl, you've always known, I've known. And a lot of us are just going to go on vacation for a spell, whether it's swimming in source or back to our, older home planet where we feel like our family is. But we're going to take a break. But as we were talking about earlier, we both had very similar flashes of everything's folding back into source and then starting over again. So that may very well be, and it's not going to be any lost time or any separation or any of that. We'll be more connected and more loved and more encompassed with support than we have ever known here.
And I've been through foster homes, so when I heard your QHHT, that they adopted you.
I didn't even know that. That didn't happen on this life.
Right.
Yeah,
and
I didn't.
Say, that's them up there, and I was kind of curious. I'm like, who is it? Is it Pleiadian? Is it the Arcturian?
I started painting them, and this is not even close to complete. But this lady, sorry, the other direction, and then the Pleiadian dude. He was very small in scale, but she was also holding like a staff, and so I'm just putting him as a staff because there was such a vast difference in their size or their presence.
Really?
She was this trippy big, I'm so dyslexic and backwards.
You're okay.
But yeah, she looked royal, and I can't stand hierarchy. I'm all, no, I want equality.
Right, unity. I agree with you on a lot of this. And when you talk about taking care of children, that was something that I felt I was supposed to be doing since I was little. I was supposed to take care of children. My sister, for the 1.5 years I stayed, had 5 foster kids. I took care of her and the 5 foster kids. Come to find out, they might soon be up for readoption again because her I call him ex-husband, but her widowed husband doesn't want to handle them, can't handle them no more.
Hold on. Can we resume this another time? My dog has to pee, so is it okay? I really want to hear this. I would love to continue chatting whenever. We can do this again as soon as you want, but my dog has to pee, and I'm getting barked at.
That works great.
Yeah. So anyway, it's been amazing.
Oh, it's been a great pleasure. A great
mental note, and cool. Yeah.
We got to break down now.
I very enjoyed you.
Thank you. You too. Let me know. You just let me